Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my Author's Answer video for February 2025. The Author's Answer series was started by J.D. Archer and his writing group. They convened on his blog, I think every week for a while, to answer a question that he would pose. And I'll link to that information down below, as well as to JD's AuthorTube page, where he brought a lot of those questions over here as well to answer them. And I have been taking part in this for several years now, answering one question per month on my own little AuthorTube subset of my BookTube page. And this month, we are up to question number 95. So, and we still have plenty more to go after this, but question 95 is the final question in a series of 4, where JD offered his writing group prompts, basically title prompts, and then the writers would have to create, a blurb for a novel in a specific genre of their choosing. And after this, I believe we'll go on to different types of questions, but I figured I'd try to go out a little bit with a bang, or take some inspiration from real life, as it were. I recently came back from a quick family jaunt to West Virginia, to the town of Berkeley Springs, which is known for its mineral water and its springs. And we did an Airbnb for a couple of nights in a nice wooded neighborhood up a mountain, and we went downtown for a bit to do some antiquing and stuff like that. We didn't actually, go to any mineral spas. But one fun element of the town is that nestled in the hills above it is this pink castle, a small little castle-like structure, which is pretty rare to see in the United States. We don't quite have that stereotypical European history. So the truncated history of this castle, it was made in the 1880s by a Colonel, Samuel Taylor Suit. He actually came from Washington, D.C., where unfortunately he lost his mansion in a fire. He had amassed a fortune, apparently through investments, politics, and distillery. But he came to West Virginia, and he fell in love with a young girl, teenager at the time, called Rosa Pelham. And 5 years later, I think when he was in his early 50s and she was in her early 20s, he was able to woo her, and allegedly he offered to build her a castle, and then they were married 3 days later. Unfortunately, it seems like they weren't able to enjoy their time there because he died of an illness during construction. Rosa was ultimately able to move in and get his fortune as his wife, but apparently she lived life a little too large and lavish and was ultimately chased out by creditors. So this castle sort of went to the public starting in the 20th century, where it was owned first by the local bank and then saw many uses, including as a retreat, a museum, something for paranormal research, tea rooms, and a boys' camp. Now it is owned by a nonprofit, the Berkeley Castle Foundation, and I think it's rented out for private events, and it seems like they open it up sometimes for the public, like and offer like tours and teas in return for help with, upkeep of the grounds. So that's the story of the Berkeley Springs Castle as it is now, and I thought it might be a good setting for my final blurb. So this month's title prompt is The Personality Dealer, and I've decided to go for dystopian horror as my genre. So here's my blurb. Pandemic and civil warfare have razed the United States, and survivors are looking for a fresh start. Setting out from Washington, D.C., Sam and Rosa head into the countryside. They find themselves in old West Virginia, and lo and behold, sight a pink castle nestled in the hills. Thinking this might provide good respite from the elements, they find it already occupied by a wizened old man calling himself Dr. Berkeley. Berkeley, claiming he made his wealth as a geneticist and psychologist in the before times, happily allows them to join his crew of survivors. Sam and Rosa relax for the first time in months with warm beds and steady meals. but their host disappears to a locked laboratory in the basement, and their new housemates go from being kind and welcoming to cold and erratic. Dr. Berkeley emerges from his lab on the full moon and gives Sam and Rosa an ultimatum. They can stay, but only if they submit themselves to the monthly ritual called the Personality Dealer. Should they come downstairs with him now, or go back out to the end of the world? Yeah, I'm not, horror, I should say, is not quite my genre, though usually I enjoy a little bit of a dip into dystopian fiction. Maybe not quite as much when the world actually feels dystopian enough on its own, but that is my foray, and I am very thankful to the Berkeley Springs Castle for the inspiration I took from them. And that about covers it for me now. I will link to my own Author2 playlist down below, as well as more information on the Berkeley Springs Castle if you are curious. I imagine its use right now is a real respite from the ills of the world rather than what I did with it. But anyway, I should be back on this channel hopefully imminently to do a Would You Read It challenge video where I look at old ballads of the BookTube Prize and assess their first pages. And I'd love to get that in before the end of the month, which is less than a week away now, so stay tuned. Thank you to JD for providing these writing prompts that I've been using these past 4 months to up my game a little bit. And to the rest of you, thanks so much for watching. Keep writing, and I'll see you next time.